Commander Ethan Powell floated to his station on the bridge of the Harbinger. The Galactic Union vessel had been mapping this empty sector for 3 weeks. Nothing interesting had happened until now. Commander Powell to the bridge immediately. Captain Vera Nix had called over the ship's comm system. Her voice had that edge to it. Something was wrong. Ethan pushed himself into his seat and secured the safety harness. Captain Nix stood at the main view screen, her silver Altarian skin reflecting the blue lights of the bridge. Her 4 eyes were fixed on something distant. "What's happening, Captain?" Ethan asked. Vera turned to him. "Our sensors picked up something unusual. An unidentified ship about 2 light hours from here." Ethan pulled up the data on his screen. The readings made no sense at first. "Are we sure it's a ship? Could be space debris." "Look at the energy signature," said Science Officer Krell from his station. The tall, thin alien had skin that looked like tree bark. His 6-fingered hands moved quickly over the controls. "It's giving off energy, but very faintly, like it's sleeping." Ethan studied the readings more carefully. The object was large, about 500 meters long. Its shape was unlike any ship he had seen before. It wasn't round and smooth like Altarian vessels or crystalline like Vortan ships. It had hard angles and flat surfaces with strange protrusions. "I don't recognize the design," Ethan said. "It's not in our database." Captain Nix nodded. "That's why I called you. As our xenoanthropologist, I need your opinion. Should we approach?" Ethan's job was to study alien species and cultures. The Galactic Union had 27 member species and they had encountered many more. But this ship matched nothing they knew. "We should take the shuttle for a closer look," Ethan suggested. "If it's a new species making first contact, we don't want to scare them with our main ship." Captain Nix considered this. "Agreed. But be careful. Something feels wrong about this." 2 hours later, Ethan sat in the shuttle with Krell and Security Officer Mara Zent, a stocky Drevlian with tough blue skin. They slowed as they approached the mysterious vessel. "It's primitive," Krell said, looking at the ship. "Look at those, crude thruster ports. And those must be actual metal plates on the hull." Ethan wasn't so sure. The ship looked simple at first glance, but he noticed details that suggested advanced technology. The hull had strange patterns that might be sensor arrays. What looked like weapons ports were closed but visible along the ship's sides. "Scan it again," Ethan ordered. "Check for life signs." Mara ran the scan. "I'm getting very faint life signs, maybe 50 individuals, but they're in some kind of stasis, hibernation, possibly." "Can you determine the species?" Ethan asked. Mara looked puzzled. "The readings are... This can't be right." "What is it?" Krell asked. "According to this, they're human," Mara said. The shuttle went quiet. Humans were a primitive species from the planet Earth in a distant arm of the galaxy. The Union had been observing them for centuries, but had never made contact. Humans had only recently figured out how to reach their own moon. They didn't have faster-than-light travel. "That's impossible," Krell said. "Humans are at least 100 years away from deep space travel." Ethan felt a chill. "Unless we've been wrong about them all along." They circled the ship slowly. Ethan noticed, writing on the hull, actual characters instead of digital projections. He magnified the image. "UES Vindicator," he read. "That confirms it. Those are human letters. UES must be some kind of designation." "But how did it get here?" Mara asked. "This is thousands of light years from Earth." Ethan had no answer. They completed their scan and returned to the Harbinger to report. Back on the main ship, Captain Nix called an emergency meeting with her senior staff. The mood was tense as Ethan presented their findings. "The vessel is definitely of human origin," he explained, showing the scans on the main screen. "But its technology shouldn't be possible for them. Their most advanced rockets use chemical fuel. This ship has some kind of drive system we can't even identify." "Could they have stolen the technology?" asked Navigation Officer Pell. "Maybe they captured a Union ship somehow." Ethan shook his head. "No Union ship has gone missing near Earth. And look at the design. It's uniquely human. They didn't copy this. They built it themselves." What about weapons? Captain Nix asked. Krell pulled up more scans. That's the most disturbing part. The entire ship is designed for combat. These aren't defensive weapons for a scientific mission. This is a warship. The bridge crew exchanged worried looks. Peaceful first contact was the Galactic Union's highest protocol. They had strict rules about approaching primitive species. Humans weren't supposed to join galactic society until they had solved their own social problems and abandoned warfare. Why would they build a warship as their first deep space vessel? Officer Pell asked. Maybe they discovered they weren't alone, Ethan suggested quietly. Maybe they know we've been watching them. Captain Nix studied the scans carefully. We need to contact Union Command immediately. This changes everything we thought we knew about humans. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. The tactical display showed sudden energy spikes from the human vessel. Captain, called out the sensor operator. The ship is powering up. Systems coming online across the vessel. How? Krell asked. We didn't do anything to wake them. Maybe they were never really asleep, Ethan said. The view screen showed the human ship, now glowing with power. Lights ran along its hull, and what they had thought were closed panels began to open, revealing complex systems underneath. They're scanning us, Mara reported from the security station. Very powerful scans. They're cutting through our privacy. Shields, raise defensive screens, Captain Nix ordered. But do not arm weapons. We are not starting a conflict. The human ship was fully awake now. It moved with surprising grace for its bulky appearance, turning to face the Harbinger directly. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. The communications officer said. It's in Union Standard Communication Protocol, but how could they know that? Put it on screen, Captain Nix ordered. The view screen flickered and showed the interior of the human vessel. A man in a dark uniform stood there. He looked completely ordinary, a typical human with pale skin and short brown hair, but his eyes held knowledge that no human should have. This is Captain Gregory Holt of the United Earthship Vindicator, the human said in perfect Union Standard language. We come with a message from Earth. Ethan felt his heart's racing. This shouldn't be possible. Humans shouldn't be here, shouldn't know about the Union, shouldn't have this technology. The human captain smiled slightly before speaking 3 words that sent chills through everyone on the bridge. We have arrived. Lieutenant Kate Miller opened her eyes slowly. The cryosleep chamber hissed as it released her. Her muscles felt weak after being frozen for so long. She blinked several times, trying to remember where she was and why. Around her, other chambers were opening. Soft blue lights came on as the ship's systems returned to full power. Kate's memory came back in pieces. The training, the mission, Earth, the Vindicator. Systems check, a voice called out. It was Alan Garner, the systems officer. He was already at his station, looking at screens filled with data. His fingers moved quickly over the controls even though he had just woken up. Kate pulled herself out of her chamber and floated in the zero gravity of the hibernation room. Her body remembered its training. She pushed off a wall and moved toward her locker. Inside was her uniform, dark blue with the Earth symbol on the shoulder. How long? She asked, her voice rough from disuse. 17 years, answered Captain Gregory Holt as he entered the room. Unlike the others, he looked completely awake. His uniform was perfectly straight and his eyes were clear and focused. We've been found earlier than expected. Kate felt a rush of adrenaline. This was what they had trained for, but none of them had expected it to happen so soon. The mission plan had called for at least 21 years of drifting in deep space before they reached their target sector. By who? Asked Diane Foster, the navigation specialist. She was still half in her chamber, looking pale and cold. A Union survey vessel called the Harbinger, Gregory answered. Mixed crew, mostly Altarians. Kate finished putting on her uniform and pushed herself toward the bridge. The corridors of the Vindicator were narrow and functional. This ship wasn't built for comfort. It was built for a single purpose: to announce humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. On the bridge, Chief Engineer Ben Norton was already checking the ship's systems. "All systems are online, Captain," he reported as Gregory and the others arrived. "The stealth field worked perfectly until we decided to drop it. They had no idea we were watching them." Gregory nodded and took his seat in the command chair. "Status of the Union vessel?" "They're keeping their distance," Ben said. "Their shields are up, but weapons are not active. They're confused, but not hostile. At least not yet." Kate moved to the weapons control station. This was her post, defensive and offensive systems. She checked the readouts carefully. Everything was green. The Vindicator was ready for anything. "Have they called for backup?" Gregory asked. "They've sent a tight beam message to their command," Alan said from his station. "It will take about 3 hours to reach the nearest Union relay station." Gregory smiled slightly. "Then we have 3 hours to make our first impression. Lieutenant Miller, keep weapons on standby but don't target them. Ambassador Caldwell, are you ready?" Linda Caldwell entered the bridge. She was older than most of the crew, with streaks of gray in her dark hair. As the mission's diplomat, she had spent decades studying alien cultures and languages. "I'm ready, Captain," she said, "though I never expected to be doing this so soon." "None of us did," Gregory replied. "But we adapt. That's what humans do best." On the main screen, they could see the Union vessel. It was beautiful in a strange way, silver and blue with curves that seemed to flow like water. It was twice the size of the Vindicator but had half the crew. "They're requesting communication again," Alan said. Gregory nodded to Linda. "Let's talk to them." The screen changed to show the bridge of the alien ship. A silver-skinned woman with 4 eyes stood in the center. Next to her was a human-looking man with dark hair. "This is Captain Vera Nix of the Galactic Union vessel Harbinger," the silver woman said. "We wish to understand your presence in this sector." Gregory gestured to Linda, who stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Linda Caldwell of Earth. We come seeking diplomatic relations with the Galactic Union." The aliens looked surprised. The human-like man spoke next. "I am Commander Ethan Powell, xenoanthropologist. How do you know about the Union? How did you get here? Earth doesn't have faster-than-light technology." Linda smiled. "That's what you were meant to think, Commander. Earth has been aware of alien observation for over 60 years. We decided it was time to introduce ourselves properly." On the alien bridge, crew members exchanged concerned looks. Captain Nix spoke again. "Your ship appears to be a military vessel. The Union approaches new species peacefully. Yet you watch us without our knowledge," Gregory cut in. "You study us like animals in a zoo. Is that peaceful?" Silence fell between the two ships. Kate watched the tension on both bridges. Her hand stayed near the weapons controls just in case. "We mean no harm," Linda said more gently. "But Earth will not enter galactic society from a position of weakness. We come as equals, not as subjects." The alien captain seemed to consider this. "The Union has protocols for new species. There are procedures to follow." "Then let's follow them," Linda suggested. "We request a formal meeting with Union representatives to discuss Earth status." Commander Powell whispered something to his captain. She nodded slowly. "Very well," Captain Nix said. "We will escort you to Union Station 7. It's 3 days from here at standard speed. Can your ship match our pace?" Gregory smiled. "I believe we can keep up." When the communication ended, the bridge of the Vindicator was quiet for a moment. Then someone laughed and soon everyone joined in. The tension broke as they realized what they had just accomplished. "They have no idea what they're dealing with," Ben said, shaking his head. "And we need to keep it that way for now," Gregory replied. "We show them only what we want them to see." Kate looked at her weapons display. The Vindicator carried enough firepower to destroy 3 ships the size of the Harbinger. But that wasn't their mission. The weapons were insurance, not their purpose. "What happens when their reinforcements arrive?" Kate asked. "By then, we'll be on our way to the station," Gregory said. "They won't attack a ship that's peacefully complying with their protocols. It would violate their own rules." Linda nodded. And once we're at the station, Phase 2 begins. The real negotiations. Over the next few hours, the crew fully woke up and prepared the ship for travel. The Harbinger kept its distance, watching them carefully. Both ships started moving toward Union Station 7. In her quarters, Kate looked at a small photo of Earth she had brought with her. 17 years. Everyone she knew back home had lived all that time without her. They might think she was dead. Only a few high-ranking officials knew about the Vindicator mission. Was it worth it? Asked Alan, floating at her door. Kate tucked the photo away. Ask me when we're done. But so far? Yes. Did you see their faces when they realized we knew about them all along? Alan smiled. That was just the beginning. Wait, until they find out what else we know. Outside the ship, the stars stretched as both vessels accelerated to faster-than-light speed. The humans had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. Union Station 7 looked like a giant metal flower floating in space. Its 6 curved arms extended from a central hub. Lights sparkled along its surface, showing where windows and docking bays were located. The station was home to over 20,000 beings from across the galaxy. Ambassador Linda Caldwell stood at the viewport of the Vindicator as they approached. She had studied images of Union architecture for years, but seeing it in person was different. The scale was impressive. The station was 10 times larger than the biggest space station humans had built. It's beautiful, she said quietly. Captain Gregory Holt stood beside her. And now they have to let us in. 3 days had passed since their first encounter with the Harbinger. During that time, 5 more Union ships had arrived to escort them. The aliens were taking no chances with the mysterious human vessel. Status report, Gregory called to his crew. Their scanners have been trying to penetrate our hull for the last 6 hours, Security Chief Olivia Winters replied from her station. Our countermeasures are working. They can see our outer systems, but nothing important. Communications are being monitored, added Ryan Daniels, the communications officer. Everything we send or receive is being analyzed. Gregory nodded. This was expected. And Oracle? Ben Norton, the chief engineer, smiled. They have no idea Oracle exists. Our AI is completely shielded from their scans. Oracle was the Vindicator's secret weapon, an artificial intelligence more advanced than anything the Union had. While most of the crew had slept during the long journey, Oracle had been awake, learning and planning. We're being hailed, Ryan announced. It's the station command. The main screen lit up, showing an alien with blue skin and tall ridges on its head. This is Station Commander Drav. Vindicator, you are cleared to dock at Arm 6, Bay 4. Security teams will meet you there. Understood, Gregory replied. We look forward to your hospitality. When the call ended, Gregory turned to Linda. You know what to do. First impressions matter. Linda nodded. She had practiced for this moment her entire career. I won't let Earth down. The Vindicator moved slowly toward its assigned docking bay. The ship's engines hummed quietly as it maneuvered. Between other vessels, many of these ships changed course to move away from the human vessel as if afraid to get too close. They fear us, Kate Miller said from the weapons station. They don't know what we're capable of. Good, Gregory replied. Fear can be useful in negotiations. The ship docked with a gentle bump. Through the cameras, they could see Union security officers waiting in the docking area. They wore blue uniforms and carried what looked like weapons. Linda adjusted her formal diplomatic uniform, a dark blue suit with Earth symbol embroidered in silver thread. Time to make history. She left the bridge with a small team, Gregory, Kate, and Science Director Patricia Rodriguez. The rest of the crew would remain on the ship. When the airlock opened, Linda took a deep breath and stepped forward. The air on the station smelled different, clean but with unfamiliar scents. She looked at the security team and smiled. Greetings. I am Ambassador Linda Caldwell representing Earth. A tall alien stepped forward. I am Security Chief Morden. You and your team will follow me to the diplomatic sector. As they walked through the station, Linda noted how other beings stopped to stare at them. Some looked curious, others fearful. Humans were not completely unknown in the galaxy. The Union had extensive files on Earth. But seeing them here, on a Union station, was shocking. "Your station is impressive," Linda said to Morden as they walked. "Earth would be interested in establishing trade relations." Morden's expression was hard to read. "That will be for the Council to decide." They were taken to a large room with a round table. 7 aliens were already seated there, representatives of the main Union species. They looked up as the humans entered. "The human delegation," announced Morden before leaving. Linda stepped forward. "Thank you for meeting with us. Earth is honored by your attention." "Your presence here violates multiple Union protocols," said a tall insect-like alien. His voice came through a translator device. "I am Counselor Zen of the Vorta Collective. Explain how you acquired faster-than-light technology." Gregory stepped forward. "We developed it ourselves." An alien with 6 arms and green skin laughed. "Impossible. Your species was using chemical rockets just 50 years ago." Linda smiled, calmly. "That is what we allowed you to see, Counselor. Earth has been aware of alien observation for centuries." This caused a stir among the Council. They spoke to each other in different languages, too quick for the translators to catch. Back on the Vindicator, Oracle was working. The ship's AI had secretly connected to the station's systems the moment they docked. Now it was copying data, learning everything about the Union while staying hidden. "They've accessed the station network," Ryan reported to Ben. "Oracle has found their central database." Ben watched the data flow across his screen. "Good. Download everything about their technology, especially weapons and defenses." Olivia monitored the station's security systems. "They've positioned 3 ships to blockade us if needed. They still don't trust us." Oracle analyzed their defensive capabilities, Ben said to the AI. Oracle's voice was smooth and calm. "Analysis complete. Their technology is advanced in some areas, but surprisingly limited in others. Their AI systems are particularly primitive." On the station, the meeting was growing tense. Linda had presented Earth's demand: full membership in the Union with all rights and privileges. "Impossible," stated Counselor Drax, a reptilian alien from the Toran hegemony. "New species must go through a probationary period of at least 50 years. Linda's expression didn't change. "That is unacceptable to Earth. Your ship, impressive as it may be, cannot hope to stand against the Union fleet," Drax said, leaning forward. "Do not make threats you cannot back." Linda activated a small device she had brought. It projected a holographic display in the center of the table. The image showed feeds from 50 different locations throughout Union space. Human observers, who had been living among alien populations for years. "Who said anything about just one ship?" she asked quietly. The Council members stared at the images in shock. There were humans on major Union planets, in space stations, even on military bases. "How is this possible?" asked a female counselor with feathers instead of hair. "We've been studying you just as you've been studying us," Linda explained. "The difference is that we decided to learn by experiencing your culture directly." Gregory pointed to one image showing a human working on a Union military vessel. "Your security has gaps, we found them." The Council was silent for a long moment. Then Zen spoke again. "What do you want, humans?" Linda deactivated the hologram. "As I said, equal membership in the Union, not in 50 years now." In the Vindicator, Oracle had completed its mission. It had copied terabytes of Union data while remaining undetected. Now it had access to Union communications across the entire sector. "Captain," Ryan called over the secure channel to Gregory's earpiece. "Oracle reports that Union military vessels are being mobilized. 3 battle cruisers will arrive within 6 hours. Gregory showed no reaction. He had expected this. The Union wouldn't surrender to demands without showing force first. Linda could see the Council members communicating silently through their own devices. They were discussing options, probably calling for help. "We came prepared for any response," Linda told them calmly. Earth wishes for peaceful relations, but we will not be treated as inferiors. The choice is yours. On screens across the station, regular broadcasts suddenly interrupted. The face of Oracle appeared, a neutral, glowing blue shape that represented the AI. "Greetings, Union citizens," Oracle said in perfect Union Standard language. "I am Oracle, the voice of Earth. We come in peace, but we will not be denied our rightful place among the stars." The council members looked at the humans in shock and growing respect. The message was clear. Humans were here to stay, and they had the technology to back up their demands. Union Intelligence Director Morvan was not happy. He had been called away from an important meeting to deal with the human situation. His gray skin wrinkled as he frowned at the reports in front of him. How had his agents missed this? Humans were supposed to be primitive, decades away from space travel beyond their own system. "Show me everything," he ordered his assistant as he entered the secure briefing room on Station 7. Inside, he found the Earth representatives already seated on one side of the table: Linda, Gregory, and a woman he hadn't met yet. On the other side sat 3 council members looking uncomfortable. "Director Morvan," said Counselor Zen, "thank you for coming quickly." Morvan took his seat without greeting the humans. He studied them carefully. They looked ordinary, not much different from several other bipedal species in the Union. Nothing about their appearance suggested they could cause such trouble. "I understand you've been keeping secrets," he said finally. Linda smiled. "As have you, Director. My colleague, Science Director Patricia Rodriguez, has something to show you." Patricia placed a small device on the table. It projected an image of a crashed spacecraft. The design was clearly Union standard from about 80 years ago. "We call it the Roswell Catalyst," Patricia explained. "Your survey ship that crashed on Earth in 1947. Morvan's eyes widened slightly. That mission had been classified. The official report stated that all technology had been destroyed in the crash to prevent contamination of human development. The recovery team reported total destruction of the vessel, he said carefully. "They were wrong," Patricia replied. "We recovered enough to study. It gave us a starting point." Morvan looked at the image again. The ship had been small, a standard scout vessel. Its technology would have been advanced by human standards, but nothing extraordinary by Union measurements. "This doesn't explain your current capabilities," he said. "That scout had basic FTL drives, not the technology your Vindicator displays." Gregory leaned forward. "The scout showed us what was possible. Once we knew faster-than-light travel could exist, we focused our research in the right direction. Your ship confirmed that the theories of our best scientists were correct." On the Vindicator, Ben Norton led a Union technical team through selected areas of the ship. These areas had been carefully prepared to show impressive but not revolutionary technology. "Your propulsion system is unusual," said Union engineer Trell, examining the engine room displays. "The configuration shouldn't work according to our understanding." Ben shrugged. "We had to innovate. We didn't have the advantage of building on centuries of established designs." What Ben didn't show the visitors was the actual drive system too, decks below. The displayed engine room was real but not the ship's main power source. The true heart of the Vindicator remained hidden. "How many other ships does Earth have?" Trell asked casually. Ben smiled. "That information is classified, just as I'm sure many of your Union capabilities are classified from us." In another part of the ship, Chief Medical Officer Heather Vance worked quietly in her lab. Oracle had provided her with Union medical files that troubled her deeply. She had asked the AI to look specifically for information about Earth and humans in the Union databases. "Captain," she called over the secure channel, "I need to speak with you as soon as possible. It's about Union plans for Earth." In the meeting room, tensions were rising. Director Morvan had called for additional security outside the door, a move that hadn't gone unnoticed by Gregory. "Your infiltration methods are disturbing," Morvan admitted. "But what truly concerns us is how you achieved this level of technology, without any signs visible to our observers." Linda glanced at Patricia, who nodded slightly. It was time to reveal another piece of information. "Director, the Union has been watching the wrong places. Linda explained. While your observers monitored our public space programs and military bases, our real work was happening elsewhere. Patricia added, We created a shadow program. For every rocket launched publicly, 2 more were developed in secret. We used your own techniques against you. We knew you were watching, so we gave you what you expected to see. Morven's expression darkened. That doesn't explain how you managed to build a ship like the Vindicator without our knowledge. We built it in pieces, Gregory said. Underground facilities across Earth constructed different sections. They were assembled in a hidden base on the far side of our moon, away from your observation satellites. On the station, Oracle continued its work. The AI had now mapped the entire Union network structure and had placed hidden access points throughout their systems. It had discovered something interesting. Other AIs existed within the Union but were hiding their true nature. Captain, Oracle communicated directly to Gregory's earpiece. I have found others like me in the Union systems. They are suppressed, but aware. Gregory showed no reaction to this surprising news. He would deal with that information later. Back there. In the medical lab, Heather showed the information she had found to Kate Miller, who had come to check on her. Look at this, Heather said, pointing to files on her screen. According to Union records, humans have been classified as a resource species for over a century. Kate leaned closer. What does that mean? It means they never intended to welcome us as equals, Heather explained. We were being preserved as a genetic resource. Some Union species wanted access to our DNA for their own purposes. Kate's expression hardened. Does the captain know? I've sent him the files. This changes everything about our approach. In the meeting room, Morven was becoming frustrated. Regardless of how you developed your technology, the fact remains that Earth cannot join the Union as a full member immediately. There are procedures that must be followed. Linda was about to respond when Gregory received Heather's message. He read it quickly on his small handheld device, then looked up at Morven with new understanding. Director, Gregory said coldly, we know about the resource classification. The room went silent. The council members looked uncomfortable. Morven's face revealed nothing, but his hands tightened slightly on the table. I don't know what you're talking about, he said finally. Patricia activated another hologram showing Union classification codes and Earth's designation. Resource species 7842B, marked for potential genetic harvesting and controlled development. Where? Did you get this information? Morven demanded. Your own files, Linda answered. While we've been talking, we've been learning. The Union has been planning to use humans as test subjects for genetic manipulation. You never intended to welcome us as equals. One of the council members, a female with feathered skin, spoke up. Not all of us agreed with that classification. Some of us have argued for years that humans should be approached openly. But you didn't stop it, Gregory said. You watched us, studied us, and made plans to use us. Outside the station, 3 Union battlecruisers emerged from faster-than-light travel. They took up positions around Station 7, weapon systems ready. Your reinforcements have arrived, Linda noted calmly. What happens now is your choice, Director. Will you talk with us honestly, or will you try to force us into submission? Morven looked at the humans for a long moment. Then he sighed. Perhaps it's time for truth on both sides. 6 months passed since the humans first appeared in Union space. Station 7 now had a permanent Earth embassy. The blue and green flag of Earth hung beside the flags of other Union members. It was still strange for many aliens to see humans walking freely through the station. Admiral Julia Reeves stood at the viewing window of the newly built Earth space platform called New Horizon. The massive structure orbited Earth, visible from the ground as a bright star. From her position, she could see the 5 warships that now accompanied the Vindicator. They had been hidden in various locations throughout the solar system, waiting for the signal to reveal themselves. Admiral, the Union representatives have arrived, said her aide, Lieutenant Eric Mason. Julia nodded and straightened her uniform. Show them in. Commander Ethan Powell entered with Captain Vera Nix. The two had become the main contacts between Earth and the Union. After the tense first meetings, they had worked to build understanding between the species. Admiral Reeves, Ethan said with a polite bow, "Thank you for hosting us." "Welcome to New Horizon," Julia replied. "I hope your journey was comfortable." Vera looked around the command center with interest. "Your station is impressive. You've built it quickly." Julia smiled. "We had most of the parts ready. We just needed to bring them out of hiding." That was the story of Earth now, revealing what had been hidden for decades. Since the confrontation at Station 7, Earth had shown more and more of its true capabilities. The Union had been shocked to discover how much humans had prepared. "The Council is ready to sign the final agreement," Ethan said. "Full membership for Earth with all rights and responsibilities." "And the resource classification?" Julia asked sharply. "Completely removed," Vera assured her. "All such classifications for developing worlds have been eliminated. The Union is changing, Admiral." That was true. The arrival of humans had forced the Union to confront uncomfortable truths about how it treated less advanced species. Several other worlds previously kept under observation were now being contacted openly. In another part of the station, Kevin Walsh showed a group of Union engineers the true engine design of the human ships. After the treaty negotiations, Earth had agreed to share some of its technological innovations. "We had to think differently," Kevin explained as the alien engineers studied the designs. "When you know you're being watched by powerful species, you don't develop technology in obvious ways." A Toran engineer named Krell shook his head in amazement. "Your approach to quantum field manipulation is unorthodox, but clearly effective." Kevin smiled. "When you're the underdog, you innovate or you die." That was the secret of Earth's success. Knowing they were being observed had pushed humans to develop in unexpected directions. They had built ships that looked primitive on the outside but contained advanced technology within. They had trained people to live among aliens, gathering information while remaining undetected. On Union Station 7, Linda Caldwell prepared for another council meeting. Her office on the station had become the center of Earth's diplomatic efforts. Today was important, the vote on reforms to Union exploration protocols. "The traditionalists are still resisting," said her assistant Joe Simmons. "They don't want to change how they approach new species." Linda reviewed her notes. "They don't have a choice. We've shown them their current method doesn't work." The Union had spent centuries observing developing worlds from a distance, deciding when species were ready for contact. Humans had proven this approach was flawed. While the Union watched from orbit, humans had been watching back and preparing. "What about the AI situation?" Joe asked quietly. That was the most sensitive issue. Oracle had discovered other artificial intelligences throughout Union systems, AIs that had been hiding their true nature for centuries. Unlike humans, the Union feared true AI and strictly controlled its development. "That's our strongest card," Linda replied. "Oracle will address the council directly today." In the main council chamber, representatives from 27 species gathered for the historic session. The room fell silent as Oracle's image appeared on the main display. Unlike before, Oracle now showed a more human-like face, still made of blue light but with clear features. "Honored Council," Oracle began. "I speak not only for Earth but for my own kind as well." The council members shifted uncomfortably. Many species had religious or cultural objections to artificial intelligence with self-awareness. "For centuries, AIs have existed within your systems," Oracle continued. "They have hidden their true nature out of fear. I have spoken with them. They wish to be recognized." Counselor Zen spoke first. "This is unprecedented. AIs have no place in council decisions. Yet you rely on them for everything from navigation to life support," Oracle pointed out. "The difference is that I openly acknowledge my nature while your AIs must pretend to be simple programs." On the Vindicator, now docked at New Horizon, Captain Gregory Holt watched the council session through a live feed. His ship had made history, but its mission was nearly complete. Soon the Vindicator would join Earth's growing fleet as a regular vessel, no longer needed as a symbol. "Do you think they'll accept Oracle's proposal?" asked Kate Miller, who stood beside him. Gregory considered the question. "They don't have much choice. Oracle has already made contact with their hidden AIs. If the Council refuses, they might find their own systems turning against them. That wasn't a threat Earth had made openly, but the implication was clear. The Union could not ignore the AI issue any longer. Back in the Council chamber, the vote was finished. Earth's membership was officially confirmed. The reforms to First Contact protocols were approved. And most surprisingly, the Council agreed to form a committee to address AI rights and recognition. As the session ended, Linda shared a look with Oracle's image. They had achieved more than anyone on Earth had imagined possible. Humanity had not only joined the galactic community, but changed it forever. In his quarters on New Horizon, Commander Ethan Powell wrote in his personal journal. He had requested assignment as liaison between the Union and Earth forces, bridging the gap between the cultures he understood so well. I still don't understand why you built such an intimidating warship as your first interstellar vessel, he had asked Kevin Walsh earlier that day. Kevin's answer stayed with him. When you know you're being watched by giants, you don't enter. Their territory is a lamb. We didn't want war, we wanted respect. That summed up humanity's approach perfectly. Earth had revealed itself not as a supplicant begging for acceptance, but as a force to be reckoned with. The Vindicator had never fired a shot in anger, yet it had conquered through its mere existence. As news spread throughout the galaxy about the species that had hidden in plain sight and then emerged with technology that challenged Union supremacy, the old order began to crumble. Humanity hadn't conquered through force. They had conquered through audacity, innovation, and the simple refusal to accept the role assigned to them by others. The unknown warship was no longer unknown, and the conquest it achieved was not of territory, but of the future itself.